So today I phoned Metropolitan Police. That's 2 weeks after I phoned Metropolitan Police with a crime reference. I got what I thought was a crime reference. Certainly when I phoned Metropolitan Police Westminster a week later. Now this was reported on the 23rd in reference to the events of the 17th at House of Commons between Margaret Hodge and Jeremy Corbyn. Typical politicians, double standards, a lot of them. And here we have her shouting and swearing. That's criminally liable 1. 2, accusing a fellow employee of one of their institutions of anti-Semitism. Expletives. Then we have the issues that brings into bear just on the procedural conditions of that job. And from our point of view as servants, public servants to us, they are indulging in these behaviours on our time. So any of us, from a police officer to myself, a heating engineer, couldn't walk in and start shouting and swearing at our colleagues and not possibly find some disciplinary procedure. But also my interest in this, apart from the overinflated idea that anti-Semitism is so bad that we should ignore poverty, discrimination in other forms, the illegal wars and everything else that just the typical media and the political class just don't want to open their eyes to, pretty much just want us all to ignore it. And no matter how bad or how good they're feeling as institutions, we've just to accept nobody do better than them. Now I was also charged and found guilty and currently are on appeal at the court session against charges raised against me where it was even accepted I never shouted, swore or threatened anybody. So it's quite interesting that Margaret Hodge gets away with it. And I'm no particular fan of Jeremy Corbyn or Margaret Hodge, and I'm certainly less fans of them now because once again, as legislators, they make the laws that the police will enforce against us. And here they are, both them and the police ignoring them, failing to uphold those laws and having it transmitted over the media that it's okay. So I reported on the 23rd of July, that's CAD 4282 23-7-18. That's the proper reference. And then a week later I phoned up Westminster Metropolitan, got a duty officer, and he said he'd phone me back. Never happened. And today, after waiting for half an hour, I got on the phone via the police network in Scotland to speak to Metropolitan Police, only to find out that they've diverted me through to a particular group that chase up incidents that, it was just reported as an incident. So in other words, everything that was reported to the media by me on the 23rd, nothing's happened. And this might not be a big thing for the police to worry about, but it is. And since then she's compared a disciplinary action to the Holocaust. I mean, but belittling the Holocaust and comparing it really to what happened to you facing disciplinary action for shouting and swearing and accusing something of anti-Semitic. You're going to compare that to the experiences of people during the Second World War within the Jewish community, and specifically those who were physically under that kind of environment. Are you kidding me, Margaret Hodge? You're offensive. I find you anti-Semitic in that regard, that you could sit there and compare your disciplinary action, which no doubt was on that, and the subsequent bottling it of the Labour Party. I mean, all you have done is undermine politics. All you've undermined is the integrity of the rules that you say you operate by. And yet, here's the big hitter. Margaret Hodge, anybody, including Jeremy Corbyn, all are legislators who stand under legislation that denies people, because of their gender, rights to their kids and kids to their dads because they're men and not women. And nothing to do with attacking women, nothing to do with abuse or rape or incest or any of the reasons why they say you should just let them make decisions without any respect for others. That's the legislation that's not complying with ECHR, but there is no declarator of incompatibility. And a declarator of incompatibility is what the law requires Parliament, sovereign Parliament, to do. It doesn't interfere with its sovereignty to the extent, and here when we're talking about human rights abuses such as anti-Semitism, which would be the thin end of any wedge of anti-human rights regulation. We declare we are a country of human rights, and yet we lied to maintain that falsehood. It's not a lie to say it's not true, because using the lens of the law, it is indisputable. I'll take on a law professor. I'll take on the most experienced solicitors. Not because I'm arrogant, but because without having a law degree, I can find out certain things that are axioms, that are truths. And it is true beyond an opinion to say that ECHR standards are not complied with in family law or the Children Act. And for them to declare it as compatible is an act of fraud. But it's also true that they're entitled under their sovereignty to produce legislation that does not meet with the standards of ECHR. So A, your government, your parliament, your media, your police are not telling you that your government that you can vote in can be voted in and then take steps that do not respect ECHR. Now, you might not have a problem with that. I might not even have a problem with that at this stage now. Delve deeper. But it's still a truth. And they don't want to tell you that. That's one. Two, they're passing legislation that's not complying with ECHR. And then making a declarative. Everyone's compatible. And when they do that is when they seek royal assent from the Queen. And when they do that, they have to speak. And it's a process that is legal as any procedure. It is the law. The law requires them that when they seek royal assent, if they know, and that's very crucial, if they know that the proposals they want to put into law, enact into law, not comply with ECHR, you can do that. You're the Parliament, you're sovereign, we gave you the power, the people of this country. But if you do that, you must declare it. And if they don't, it's fraudulent. And it makes that law fraudulent. And it's bigger than the expenses scandal, and it's institutional abuse of the rules. Now, why would they want to deny that passing legislation is not compliant with ECHR? Probably people now say, well, that's your opinion, Brian. ECHR is quite clear. The Quality Commission in Scotland are trying to persuade Nicola Sturgeon to comply with children's rights here with United Nations Convention on Human Rights. In other words, it's not at the moment. And it's amazing, isn't it? We're hearing about anti-Semitism from parliamentarians without specificity. That being carried through by the media without specificity on our screens by paid people, not private individuals like I'm doing just now. I can express a erratic and ranting and point of view. That's all I'll be doing. But if I then am employed by the Met and then stand there as a PR and start saying I think Jews should go back to wherever, apart from being offensive and illegal, I'd be doing it as a professional as well and would suffer consequences as a professional. But here's all these professionals ignoring institutional abuses. And the lens that we would use to call it institutional abuses is ECHR, European Convention on Human Rights. Discriminated against parental rights purely because of your status as a man, and with no evidence to back it up. And that's what I've been arrested about, complaining about. So I wouldn't need to shout or swear to get my point across, and I never did. And yet I'm being arrested, and now taxpayers spent, I would say, at least £500,000 trying to stop me in ways that got nothing to do with what they want to stop me talking about, which is institutional child abuse. And my lens for making that description is British rule of law and European Convention of Human Rights within the framework that British law accepts. Within that framework, we're not compliant with ECHR. And going back to what this video is all about, Margaret Hodge, a legislator, standing under legislation that denies people the right to know their dad or their child because they're a man, not because they're bad. And now she's moaning about a disciplinary action for making and shouting, and then compared that being called down. And I wonder, as Mr. Finkelstein said, so when you were 6, Miss Hodge, you were called down to the headmaster, would you compare that to the Holocaust? He's absolutely right. And by the way, I've got some Jewish heritage as well. Does that mean that my race is Jewish or part Jewish? Or is it a religious thing? I'm getting very confused about all of this. At the same time, facts that pertain to a breach in the law are being ignored. So now I'm going to post this on YouTube and wait to see. CAD 4282 on the 23rd of July 2018. Margaret Hodge. I've made a complaint, a criminal complaint, and I want it looked into.